Why warnings don't work, the real science of behavior change. You've been lied to about how people change. We're told that if you just warn someone hard enough, scare them straight, they'll stop. They'll eat healthier, quit smoking, start saving. But here's the uncomfortable truth: it doesn't work. In fact, trying to scare people can make things worse. And what actually drives behavior change is something completely different, and honestly, kind of shocking. Let me show you why everything you thought you knew about motivation is probably wrong. Why warnings fail. You've done it. We all have. Tried to scare someone into changing. Stop eating that junk, you're gonna get fat. Or, if you keep smoking, it's gonna kill you. Seems logical, right? It's not just us. Governments plaster grotesque images on cigarette packs. Health campaigns scream about diabetes and disease. Political ads weaponize fear like it's a cheat code. But here's the kicker: the science says it barely works. One study found that those scary cigarette labels? They don't reduce smoking. In some cases, smokers saw them and felt less motivated to quit. That's not a glitch. That's psychology. The psychology of avoidance. Fear doesn't inspire action. It triggers shutdown. Think animals. When scared, they don't leap into action. They freeze. Or run. That's nature. And humans? Not so different. When we're afraid, we don't lean in, we avoid. We tell ourselves stories to ease the discomfort. My grandfather smoked for 60 years and lived to 90. I have good genes. It won't happen to me. We justify. We numb. We log off. Literally. When the stock market drops, guess what happens? People stop checking their accounts. Not to prevent loss, just to avoid seeing it. Because when fear shows up, logic shuts down. Why bad news gets filtered. Let me hit you with a weird one. Researchers asked people to estimate the odds of bad things happening to them, like going deaf or getting robbed. Then they were given expert opinions. Sometimes the news was better than expected, other times, worse. Guess which kind of feedback people actually listened to? The good news. When told, actually, your risk is lower than you think, people adjusted. But when told, sorry, it's higher, most ignored it. And this wasn't just college kids being overly optimistic. They tested people aged 10 to 80. Same pattern. We absorb good news. We deflect the bad. Here's the curveball: that ability to learn from negative news peaks in middle age and drops off later. Kids and older adults? Worst at updating their beliefs from bad news. We're wired to protect our hope, even if it means lying to ourselves. Social proof changes behavior. So if fear doesn't work, what does? One word: social proof. Humans are tribal. Deep down, we care way more about what others are doing than what we're told to do. In the UK, tax officials were struggling to get people to pay on time. So they added one simple line to their letters: 9 out of 10 people in your area pay their taxes on time. That tiny sentence boosted compliance by 15%. Billions of pounds recovered, not by threats. By belonging. We follow the herd. And not just blindly, we want to be part of it. We want to measure up. And that's where it gets interesting. Instant gratification is king. Here's something wild. In a US hospital, researchers wanted doctors to wash their hands more often, so they installed cameras to track hygiene. You'd think that would work, right? Nope. Only 1 in 10 followed the rule. They knew they were being watched and still ignored it. Then they added one tiny tweak: a digital screen that showed how many hand washes had occurred. Every time a staff member washed up, the number ticked up and the team got real-time feedback. Guess what happened? Compliance soared to 90%. Practically overnight. Why? Because they got an instant reward. A small dopamine hit. The satisfaction of seeing the counter rise. We crave instant feedback. We crave now. That's not weakness, it's survival. Tracking progress locks us in. People think willpower is what drives change. It's not. Progress is. When we can see our improvement, we keep going. Even small wins can hook us in. Energy companies tested this by showing homeowners how their electricity use compared to neighbors. They even added smiley faces for low users. The result? People got competitive. They wanted to save more. Not for the planet. Not for their bills. For that tiny smiley face and the feeling of progress. That's powerful. Control creates motivation. Here's something almost no one talks about: control. When people feel helpless or forced to change, they shut down. But when they feel like they are in charge, that they're choosing to improve, everything changes. In that same hospital hand-washing study, the feedback screen didn't just show numbers. It showed weekly trends, team comparisons, and gave staff a sense of ownership. They didn't feel policed. They felt empowered. That illusion of control is more than a psychological trick. It's a human need. We're wired to want to shape our environment, not be shaped by it. So what does all this tell us? That fear isn't the engine of change. It's the brake. People don't move because they're afraid of pain, they move because they see progress, they feel connected, and they believe they're in control. So if you want to help someone change, your kid, your partner, yourself, stop relying on warnings. Instead, do this. Highlight what others are doing right. Offer small, immediate wins. Show progress, no matter how small. And most importantly, give them control. Because lasting change doesn't come from fear. It comes from hope, direction, and the belief that you're already on your way. You don't scare people into changing. You show them it's possible. If this changed how you think about behavior, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more insights like this, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.